Tesla tanking today, down 5% as the electric vehicle maker deals with its earnings fallout and an ongoing battle with the SEC. It hit its lowest level since January 2017, now broken well below its key support range that has been in play for the last 2 years. And on the flip side, Ford is surging after its earnings, having its best day in a decade. The automaker's market cap now surpassing Tesla's market cap for the first time in nearly a year. You've been doing some deep dive into this.
Yes, I've been looking at this thing that's interesting to me. We have a chart that's going to show us some Tesla bonds, the ones that trade the most liquidly, against the stock for the year. So the thing that's interesting, you see the yellow line, which is flat, is basically the bonds moving up and down, up and down. The other line is the equity. And what that's showing us is many times the stock has been right where the bonds are, but now the stock's broken way through the bonds. Why aren't the bonds down? The reason the bonds aren't down is because bondholders, who I always believe are much smarter than the equity holders, believe that some sort of capital raise is coming, some sort of equity raise would be the best thing for them. That would secure the bonds, that would secure technically, but that would put a floor under the bonds, which would be good for them. So they always know first. They're telling you a big raise is coming. I don't know if that's good or bad for the equity, honestly.
Yeah, that's the question at this point.
That is the question. And what is the right amount of money? It's a $40 billion market cap now. It shouldn't be that difficult to raise a few $1 billion. But do people throw in the towel, or do people say, oh, now they have, they have plenty of room to let the business run?
In the past, an equity raise has not been a challenge for the stock, or at least not for the long term.
In 5 or 6 different forms over the last 2.5 years, I would say each time it's proven to be an opportunity because Elon Musk buys, and the next thing you know, the stock's percentage higher than when it did the raise. I think it's different this time for a lot of different reasons, not least of which the stock is through levels we haven't seen in quite some time. Couple points. Great job by Chris Verone, who sat here the other day, you might recall, and he said there are no, what do you say, quintuple bottoms? Remember that whole thing?
Quintuple bottoms.
And then somebody put a Quint thing up. Quint was, of course, the great captain of the Orca in the movie Jaws, a great GIF. With that said, Tim Seymour's been short this thing, riding it, good for him. 175 is now critical support. Not suggesting it gets there, but if you're looking for a level, that's it.
So I suspect what's changed now is the story is just pretty muddled, right? And so we have the launch, all those times in the lead up to this Model 3 release, that was the thing. That was the great white that they were going after. You see what I did there?
Yeah, I did.
And so right now, though, it's out. It's kind of underperforming. We don't know what the sort of demand is right now. And then the financials are kind of strained. I think if they do a capital raise, it has to come with some sort of strategic announcement. It has to come with some settlement with the SEC. I think it has to be a nice, clean package where they basically clear the decks for the next 2 years so they can go and execute.
But one of the things different, though, if I could just add, they did that 15, 16, 17. It's 19 now. So other competitors have had 5 years to get closer to building a real competitor to Tesla's product.
Right. At this level, would you be more inclined to be long or short?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, for us, the outcome just seems too binary. I feel like as an investment, as a long-term investment, it's either going to go really well or it's going to go really poorly. And I feel like from a risk-reward perspective, that's not something that we're that interested in. I know the stock's down 30%, so maybe near-term the downside isn't as much. But I continue to worry about the fact that they burn cash, it's not showing up in profit growth, and eventually people start to tire, and investors aren't willing to fund them at cheap levels. And then you have all the regular concerns. You have big competition and so on and so forth. So for us as an investment, we'd probably stay away. We just showed at the bottom of your screen a news flash. We've learned that the SEC and Elon Musk, Tesla, have reached an agreement over Elon Musk's use of Twitter. Remember, originally they had asked for an extension to April 30th. Were granted that extension. They've since reached an agreement. We don't have the details yet, but apparently they have reached an agreement. So that business should theoretically be behind Musk as well as the company. So that's one thing cleared out here.
Yeah, so you remember when they settled some suit, I don't know, something, he paid a $20 million fine. Investors didn't care. The stock was much higher. I think what's really interesting about the price action this week was how orderly the sell-off has been since the earnings. Now, it hasn't seen an uptick, which may not sound orderly if you're long, but it hasn't been panicky for, it's just kind of drifted into the close. Now, down 5% today felt like maybe near capitulation, but I think it will take some sort of announcement much bigger than this to get this stock going and back in the right direction.
And this, by the way, still has to be approved by the judge theoretically, but they have reached an agreement at this point. But back to the question.
I like the question.
The question because
I like the question.
Do you are you in my head? Are you in my head?
I'm in your head. If this is what you're going to say to me. If you flew in from Mars today,
I wasn't going to say
yes,
that.
you
but
were.
Keep going.
And you saw Tesla. How would you trade the stock?
No, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say, given the support levels, it's reached.
Okay, so
if
it came in from Mars. It's almost similar, very similar.
If you came in from Mars, you saw support levels.
This is how I would trade it, and this is going to be counterintuitive to a lot of folks out there. But this, I put my trading cap on. You buy it on a breakout on a close above 250, 255. Otherwise, you press your short, look for 175. That's how you trade it based on what happened today.
Wow.
You're asking me a question.
Yeah.
I gave you a cogent answer.
Underscoring the levels here.
Mars.